Hey guys, I'm here with Dr. Felecia on October 22nd, which is her anniversary, 35 years. Basically, just
Yeah.
discussing the last interview that we had, which was eye-opening. It was a mirror or a glass, looking glass into some of the things that we may not even have realized could be an opportunity for um, growth and support and etc. with young adults. And that thing is, we're talking about sugar and we're talking about the opportunities for just insight on more nutritional tips. So if you could just tell us a little bit about what you know about sugar and what you're talking about, especially with the lady at church.
Yeah, so one of the things that prompted me to do the Get Your Health Back on Track, the Facebook page, was a conversation I had with one of my church members, brand actually a pretty new person on in our church, and she was sharing with me that she had lost one of her legs because of diabetes complications, and in the midst of us getting to know each other over several months, she lost the other leg. And it just prompted me, of course, to just dig a little bit deeper into, what was happening. And of course, sugar, um, because when we're looking at diabetes, we all know, it is how our body is processing. And she was, saying that, she had lost circulation in the one leg, so it wasn't getting any circulation, which means in essence it was, it's not able to use it, and happened to the second leg. And so when we think about sugar, we have to think about it, on a couple of levels. So sugar in and of itself, we're talking about glucose in our body, we need, and our bodies are already designed to handle it. It is when the overproduction or the overconsumption of it is where we run into issues with our body being able to process it, our cells in particular being able to process it. The sugars that are out are especially white sugar, and let me be clear, especially white sugar. Our bodies are not designed to process white sugar. However, we find it in all kinds of foods, um, all kinds of liquids and drink and candy. We have sugar in places that it shouldn't be. So I'll give you an example. If you like ketchup on, foods, if you look at the ingredients, ketchup has sugar in it. And the question is why? But if you've ever tasted ketchup without sugar in it, you can tell the dramatic difference
Wow.
in what that tastes like. It doesn't taste great because it's the pure tomato. So, one of the things we have to remember about is, and I think I've said this before on our channel, is look at the ingredients. And many times, or most of the time, I'll say most of the time, because sometimes it's maybe hidden, but most of the time, it will tell you how much sugar is in it. It'll tell you if there's added sugar. So you have natural. So we were just talking about orange juice. Orange juice has its own natural sugars and carbohydrates. It should not be in the next section. It might say something like added sugar. There's no reason to add sugar to something that's always sweet. So you have to be really careful when you're looking at foods and liquids and things that you're going to consume. Just look on the back of the ingredients, and it'll tell you, how many grams. If it says something more than maybe 5 grams of sugar, and again, it depends on what food it is, but more than 5 grams of sugar, take a little deeper look into what it is. If it's saying 30 and 40 and 50 added, this is in addition to what's in the food, then that's something you may, want to take another look at the ingredients and see if you can find something that's going to be a little bit better. But, we can have a longer conversation later about why our
Not tonight.
food,
I'm tired.
we can,
Not
talk about
tonight.
we have sugar in places that it should not be. And then there are natural sugars that you can have. Something like monk fruit. if you've never had monk fruit before, it's a natural sugar. It's not like the white sugars that's in our food, that if you have that white sugar, it's going to last for years and years and years and years. So if it lasts for years and years and years outside of our body, what do you think is going to happen, if we consume it in our food? So
That's what I was going to
that
ask
was
you.
really,
That's what I was going to
yeah,
ask you for, was a natural replacement for the sugar, for the taste, and also for the feeling,
right,
the boost that you get from it. Because if you listen to what she was saying, a part of her eating the chocolate and that kind of stuff was also like an emotional stressor. So,
right,
you need something to replace that. Um,
right.
not just with taste, but also with regards to, I guess, the emotional or euphoric feeling, whatever it may be that you get. Hold on one second, because my computer's
Right.
battery's about to die. Hold on one second.
Okay.
So even though monk, yes, there we go. So even though monk food has you're saying it has a sweeter taste to it. Is that what it is?
It's very sweet. You don't have to use as much, and it's a natural sugar. It's almost like if you look at natural sugar cane. In its natural state, it is sweet. But what happens is we process it. And because we process it, it takes it out of its natural state. And so what we're really eating is then going to become more foreign to our bodies. So if you eat, we can eat, and there are other ways to replace, sugar. If you're going to eat, something, you want something sweet, you can use something like dates. So people who are making recipes, I've found you can use dates. And if you use dates, again, they are high, of course, because they're sugar, but they're going to be high in um, carbohydrates. So just think about, one of the things, as look at what's in your diet, and I think our guest Vianka did too, was what are some alternatives? She does, of course, exercise. She does, these pop up places for exercise. But with our food, one of the easiest natural sweeteners is our fruits. So we can look at fruits like bananas, high in potassium, high in sugar, they're high glycemic. So if you are going to eat something like bananas, you might have to pair it with something because it's going to hit our bloodstream, and you're going to have a glycemic effect to it. So people who might be what they would consider, I don't even like to use the word pre-diabetic, because if you're pre-diabetic, that means you probably are already on the steps to being diabetic. But there
Oh,
are things that you can
oh,
do.
oh, Felecia, every time I talk to you, I get scared. Look, you're gonna have to make me take some heart pills, because with my
No,
either
but the good
second or
thing
third.
about being pre, the word pre is you still do have time to really change the things that you're eating. And if you're not exercising, exercise will help. So it's not meant to scare people, but it's meant for people to take a closer look at what you're consuming. So
So,
you can't eat really cakes and candy and Oreos, even though I love Oreos. So if I'm gonna eat something like that, it's occasional, an occasional treat. But because it hits your blood system, it's gonna make your glycemic index just hit the roof because of the products that they put in the food. They put things in the food, one, to make it sweeter, and then two, so that we'll want to eat more of it because of our attraction to the taste of it. It's like she was saying, you get an endorphin from eating the chocolate. Well, there are other foods, of course, that you're going to have the same kind of effect. So we can look for natural sugars, grapes. People used to say, oh, don't eat grapes because grapes are high. Grapes are better than candy. Our bodies can process it a lot quicker. And then you don't have to eat as many. If you really eat really good processed, not processed, but really good grown fruits, you will be able to figure out ways then that you can replace some of the other sweet things like cakes and candy and things like that in your diet. And
But
then you
also,
can find, yeah, go ahead.
no, I was gonna say, but also, if you recall, what she was saying is that she was eating it as a meal. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
So if you also are eating regularly, whatever it may be, fish, vegetables, whatever it may be, but if you're eating regularly, you're not going to have that same amount of vacant space for junk. So when we were laughing and joking, I was talking about icing. Well, I was serious. I do love my chocolate icing, but when I don't eat and I know that I have 50,000 things I need to do afterwards, that's when I fill in with that chocolate, that junk, that etc. So with that being said, I like the fact that you're giving us things that are quickly accessible. So if you could think of like 4 or 5 things that have
Can
some of the sweet
replace.
taste, or
Right.
can help with endorphins,
Right.
etc.
So if you're cooking, two of the best ones, and I'll re-mention them again, is monk fruit, MONK fruit, and you can find it now. It is a process. It is a processed sugar, but there's nothing added to it. So some people might, instead of using monk fruit, they might pick something like natural stevia. You can use that. That's a good replacement source. You just need to again make sure it should only have the stevia leaf. It shouldn't have all this other stuff in.
So what?
Dates. I'll
Wait,
say
wait. One
dates.
question. Monk fruit. Where would you find it? Would you find it in the refrigerated section? Would you find it in the dry food
You're
aisle?
gonna find it. You'll find it where the other kinds of sugars are. You'll find it there,
Okay.
like in the baking section.
Okay.
You'll find it, and it's everywhere now. When I first started using it, it was a little more difficult to find. Now I see it in, the stores here in our area. I see it in the Whole Foods. I see it in the Trader Joe's. You can find it pretty readily now. So monk fruit is great. Coconut sugar is another replacement. If you can get it raw, that's better because your body can process it a lot quicker if it's raw, and it's going to be a brown color and not white. Okay. If you can find appropriate honey, honey is great. It's also a natural sweetener. That's what my mom uses in her oatmeal in the morning. So honey is great. It's a great, one of the things to be careful about honey is just look and see again if they've added anything to it, or is it a natural honey, farm raised, et cetera, et cetera.
Is raw honey
Um,
better?
and it's fall.
Is raw honey
Um,
truly better?
Raw, if you can find it raw, straight from the hive, it's better because it's not processed. So the key to when people are looking for replacements for sugar is try to find the raw sources, because that way you're not gonna it comes straight from the hive and it's put in the bottle and then we buy it, is what you want. You don't want it to come from the hive, then it goes to a processing plant and they put it in the little plastic bottles. So if you can
Here you
find
go
it
with that
in
plastic
that
again.
old. Yeah, well, the difficulty is most of the plastics that we use, they're not created in a way where they don't infiltrate our food. And so even if it's, as tiny, you can't see particles from the plastic, they get in our food. And as a result, we bottle water. I mean, you may not want to hear all this tonight,
I know
but
my
bottled
heart.
water, yeah, bottled water, we have to be really careful, getting the brands that take care to make sure it's processed. If you can find water, I use, oh, what is the brand? It's in a green bottle. It'll come to me in a minute. But I'm now drinking bottled water from natural sources, and but it's cost. I will say it's cost prohibitive. It's expensive, and I can't imagine a family who wants the best water for their family, especially little people, and you're having to pay. $8 for a bottle of water. Most people won't do that. So that's why if you go into any store, whether it's a grocery store or whether it's a Target or a Walmart, you're going to see you'll see cases of water. And the cases of water, what do they range? What, $4, $4.99, something like that. And the what the water in the bottles is exposed to is plastic. So if you're drinking that, you're going to be exposed to some of that too. So, you know, again, the same thing with our sugars. Please make sure you look and see what's included. If you can go organic, like organic dates, organic honey, the monk fruit, the organic, I don't think I said organic stevia, but organic stevia, those are great replacements that you can have instead of just the natural white sugar that most of us, have grown up around all our lives.
Wow. Wow. So, Dr. Felecia, you are providing some powerful stuff, some powerful information about just how to better take care of your diet. Some painful stuff too, but some painful stuff for me. But how can people access your information? How can people access you? I mean, how can people get help along the way? And I was wondering, can they, if somebody wanted to come to you, can you assist them with just simple steps, like, start off with A, B, C, D, E, F? Do you do that, like 1, 2, 3 steps?
Yeah, so if you have access to, of course, Facebook, I have a Facebook page, Get Your Health Back on Track. I also have Instagram, Dr. Felecia with Get Your Health Back on Track, and you can send comments, and then I will answer questions. If there are medical laden, I always recommend, of course, that you have conversation with your primary care, if you have a PA or a nurse or family physician. But I am happy to direct or answer questions that people send me. I do that on my site a lot. So yes, either place you can find me.
Excellent, excellent. So, guys, I think we have some tips, some tools, some tricks, some all of the other good stuff, a whole lot of stuff, like a Santa Claus bag full of stuff, right? That we can
Yes.
to better take care of our health and take it seriously. As she mentioned in the beginning, diabetes, it can have physical, emotional challenges along the way. So we want to make sure that we are understanding what we're putting in our body, understanding the opportunities out there, and that we are also able to readily communicate any type of changes or shifts we're feeling in our body, effectively. Because there may be some symptoms that you're experiencing that you're not communicating to a physician, in a pre-diabetic stage, to circumvent things getting worse. So making sure that you have all those tools that are needed to best take care of you and have the best quality of life. So, Dr. Felecia, I thank you so much for everything. And I also thank Vianka for the insight that she provided, the window. That's what I was looking for. I was like, for the window that she provided into some of the opportunities, some of the opportunities to further assist individuals with dietary challenges, cravings.
Yes.
Yeah. No matter how beautiful they are with that chocolate frosting ice cream. I mean, chocolate
No,
frosting.
right.
No matter how beautiful the challenge, we can help you. Huh?
Yes, yes, yes. Oh, yes.
So anyway, once again, thank you, Dr. Felecia. I will put this in there as a post interview
Okay.
to our discussion with Vianka, and I'll share this with her to let her know that
All right.
it's
Well, you
awesome.
have a good night.
You too. Yes, sleep, sleep. Amen. Good night.
Amen. Night.